Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a book box or a miniature little library for one of the allotment projects that I've been working on. I'm going to be making it out of recycled wood. It's wood that has come from a previous project, which I mentioned a little bit in my January challenge video. So this is from an artwork that I made in collaboration with another artist. We turned this cabinet, this old piece of furniture, into a interactive installation. It had drawers that you could open and things that you could touch and see and feel and smell and all sorts. So I didn't want this to go to waste. So when we dismantled it, I was trying to look for a project that I could use it for. And this project came up. So the allotment has a book box that I made for them already, but it's been so popular that they need a bigger one, which is fantastic because it means that, you know, that book box worked. So now I'm making this larger version so that we can get more books in and more people can sort of share that experience. So it's going to be quite tall and thin. So the one that they've got at the moment is quite a short, fat one, but I quite like the size and the shape of this. It's got a nice window as well, so that people are going to be able to see the books through the window. I'm going to use maybe some vinyl or a paint pen from the inside and paint a message on here. On the original one there's something like take a book, need a book, take a book, have a book, leave a book. So I might write that again on this glass piece. The good thing about this being a tall book box as well is that hopefully on the bottom shelf it might be low enough to the ground that children can see in and have a look at the bottom shelf, and perhaps kids' books could be kept on the bottom shelf. And then we'll have multiple levels so people can stack lots and lots of books in. Yeah, so my plan is to scrape some of this decoration off. It kind of would fit the allotment theme because it's floral, and this was sort of based on lichen that grew in the forest and that kind of thing. So it kind of has got that nature vibe to it, but I'm not sure if it's the right thing for the allotment, so I'll probably be scraping that off and maybe varnishing it, or I might paint it like a nice sort of sagey or grassy green to go with the allotment. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how many holes I need to fill and what the condition is once I've sanded it back and scraped it back and things. But I've gone through my wood pile and I've picked out the pieces that I think are going to work. So my first thing that I want to do is take off all of the bits on here, the kind of chunky bits. So we made some ceramic pieces that got attached to the inside, so all of that needs to come off. Any fixings that I'm not going to need, I'll take off. And then just do a kind of basic construction, so putting some of the pieces back together that were originally together, but there's also bits that weren't originally in that place, so some of those will need fixing in, and just checking that everything I've got everything I need so that I can go out and get any bits of wood or fixings that I might need before I can actually crack on and finish the thing. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking now and I'm going to start working, and you can watch me. So to start with, I've just been kind of putting pieces together and seeing what might attach to what and if everything's the right size to fit together. And I've been removing all of the bits and bobs, like the brackets that I'm not going to be using, and also things like this. This is a piece of ceramics that we'd attached to the unit as part of the artwork for the last project that it was used for. Took me a while to get rid of it. We'd glued it on there pretty tightly, but eventually, it pinged off, and now I get to keep this as a little memento of that project. Lovely. So I'm off to the shops. I've finished putting together the bits of the kind of cabinet that I had and sort of piecing it back together in a way. I wanted to do that first to have almost like a draft of what I'm going to do, so that I knew what fixings I might need to go and buy, materials and tools and stuff. So I'm now off to the shops to get some bits of wood and a scraper tool to get rid of all of the decoration that's on there from the last project it was used in, and probably other stuff, because I can't go to B&Q without buying something that I'm not going in there for. So yeah, I'll go inside, see what they've got, and head back and start to finish off the box. So that's me done in the shop. I did only buy the things that I went in for. Did very well. Didn't get too distracted by plants and other exciting tools that were in there. I got the strip wood. I also got a chunkier bit of wood as well that I've got down here. Oh, there we go. And a heavy duty scraper. So I nearly bought a cheaper one, but it's something that I've been thinking I'll probably need for a few other projects. And I thought, if I get the really cheap one, it's just going to break, and then I'm going to have to buy another one. So I spent a little bit more and got the heavy duty one with a comfortable handle and a spare blade for it as well, so that I'm not going to have to come back and replace that if it breaks. So yeah, I'm going to head back to the studio now and crack on with this box and yeah, see if we can get it done. Right, so I've just used the router to widen the gaps where the shelves originally sat. The piece of wood that I'm using are from this cabinet, but they're from a slightly different part of the cabinet. So they didn't quite fit into the gaps that the shelves were originally in. So I've just used the router to widen those little inserts a little bit, and that wood fits in there perfectly now. It's probably not the neatest of lines because I'm not an expert at one of these things, but it's done the job, and you won't see them anyway once the shelves are in and it's all screwed in, filled, painted. It'll be great and it'll still function really well. So now it's time to crack on and actually construct the whole thing together and take a good look at it and see how I'm going to sort of decorate it and add all the finishing touches. So it was a good idea to do a draft kind of construction of this, because one of the things I've discovered is this. The door is slightly shorter than the wood that it's attaching to. So I'm going to mark this off here and cut this portion of it off, and then it should fit a lot better together. Yeah. So I'll do that and crack on. Okay, this is where I'm up to. I've taken down the top a little bit to get rid of that gap between the door and the top of the unit. I've attached everything together, or so far top, bottom, two sides, and this kind of middle shelf which is attached in to give the whole structure a bit more stability. I've scraped off some of the decoration from before, and now it's time to try and get the back on. So I can see from here and from when I deconstructed it originally that the back panels, which I have here, were attached with these staples. So I think what I'm going to try and do is have a go at reusing the staples, and then if not, I'll pop them back in place and just put either some pin nails, or I might do screws, because screws are going to be a bit more secure with this being outdoors. I'm hoping that these are enough to cover the whole back. I think it is. I kind of measured it up earlier when I was constructing everything together for the kind of draft construction, and yeah, I'll give it a go and see if they go on okay, see if they're a good size match, and get them on the back. And then we will have three sides, and then it will just be attaching the door, but I think I'll do that part once I've kind of done a bit more finishing on holes and scraping off of glue and bits like that I can still see when I'm doing the rest of this work on it. So yeah, let's get the back on. So you can probably see by the tools strewn around the place that I've been busy. The back's on and the shelf is in. It's all screwed together now and all of the decoration's been scraped away from it. So it's all just down to the wood now. So I'm going to get the door on and see how that's looking. Yeah, it went pretty well. It went okay. It's not taking me too long. I'm trying to do this in a couple of days if I can. I'm still on track to do that, so that's good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out so far. It's nice and sturdy, nice and solid. I'm probably going to have to think of a way of raising it off the ground a little bit, but that might happen when I get it to the allotment, and we'll see like where it's going to be standing, what it might need on the ground. We'll probably put it on a slab and then maybe put some chunky wooden like legs on the bottom of it just to raise it up off the floor a little bit. But yeah, so far I'm pretty pleased with how it's gone. The scraper tool, really glad I got that. I'm glad I got the extra blade for it as well. That was really good because it did blunt. So I did need the extra blade, so that was really good. It's amazing how quickly things blunt and you don't realise, and then you put a new blade in and it's like, oh, it makes it so much easier again. But yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with it so far. I need to put the shelves in. I've got some little brackets that were originally in the unit, so I'm going to use those. So this middle shelf here is not movable. I've screwed it in, but it also makes the unit a bit more sturdy. But there's original holes in here where you could put the little posts in to move shelves up and down. So we've got the option of putting 2 more shelves in here. So yeah, I'll get on with adding some shelves in. I'll screw the door on and put the catches in so we can see how it functions. And yeah, we'll go from there. Not too much more to finish now. So I've just put the knob back on, and these were already attached anyway, but I've put the hinges on, top and bottom, and I've added these little catches in here, which are quite springy and sturdy. So I'm hoping it'll shut tight and hold nicely. So moment of truth, let's see. Yeah, that looks good. It fits nicely. It's nice and snug as well. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So now it's time to have a look at where the other shelves might go. Get it ready for painting, and afterwards I'm going to line the inside with some plastic because it's going to be an outdoor book box. So I've got something here. So something like this, it's one of those kind of white clean tablecloths, but if I cut it to size and staple gun it on the inside, it's going to make the inside a bit, not waterproof, but maybe water resistant for the books that are going to be in there. And I did that in the last one that I made, and it seemed to work really well. So yeah, I'm going to be using something like this. It might not be this pattern, but we'll see. Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with it so far, but I better crack on if I'm going to get this done in 2 days. So the filler is done. It's going to take 2 hours to dry, it says on the tub. So while it's drying, I'm going to add the fabric to the inside, and I managed to find this. It's got foliage and these like lovely little woodland creatures, so I thought it was a good kind of allotment vibe because that's where this book box is going to be. So yeah, I'm going to cut some strips to size, line the whole of the inside, and use my staple gun to staple it in there. I did this in the last one, and all of the books that have been in it have been completely fine, so that's helped to sort of keep the damp off of them. So I know that this method works, which is always good. Yeah, but I thought this was quite a nice, oh, up the wrong way. I thought this was quite a nice sort of nature inspired fabric that would look lovely on the inside, and because it's books as well, this gave me like a kind of book illustration vibe too. So yeah, let's get cracking. I'll cut it to size and we'll start getting it in there, and we'll take a look at it when it's done. So as you can see, I've started the interior. I'm doing it with overlaps just to give a little bit more protection from the moisture. Yeah, it's going on okay so far. I've got plenty of fabric to fill it all in, so that should be okay. I'm using the staple gun. It's quite a tough staple gun, so it's taken me a bit longer than I thought, because it's really hard to like get that trigger squeezed and get the staples in. But yeah, it's going okay. Yeah, let me show you. I'm cutting around these rather than going up to here. I'm cutting around them just so I've got that little bit of extra protection from the rain coming in. But obviously I can't go right up to the edge because we need the door to be able to shut. And so far it does shut quite nicely. So the next piece I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do it all in one piece along the top, down the back and along here, and as much in one piece as I can, just to save there being any seams for the moisture to get in. And yeah, and then I'll crack on with the bottom part. But yeah, I'm quite happy with it so far, and it's really lovely print, so I think it's going to be lovely when there's lots of books in there and all these little creatures are in there with the books. Check it out, the inside's done. Yeah, I love it. I'm really glad I went for this choice of fabric. It's It's so cute. Like I can just imagine people like, oh, you know, coming along the book box and oh, I wonder what's inside, and then there's all these little creatures that you can see. Yeah, I think kids are going to really like to sort of spot the animals in here, which I know that is something that some of the children that visit the allotment really like to do. So I think that's going to be a really nice thing for them when they visit. It almost feels a shame to cover it up with books and put books inside, but yeah, I think I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. So I've just cut a couple of little chocks of wood, and they're going to go in this gap here, just to fill in that little gap where the permanent shelf goes in. And there's one on each side, so I've cut two. So just going to go in and help to hide that gap, or cover up the gap, should I say, for when the book box is closed. So, you know, we haven't got a gap that water can get into easily. So the little mushrooms on the shelves here, and one down here, they're left over from the last project that this unit was made for. A couple of them, the tops have fallen off, so I'm just going to replace them, because I thought, although they were from the last project, they look really cool with the rest of the cabinet. So there's going to be one there and one there. Yeah, I just think they go, especially now that this the fabric's in. I think they yeah, they suit it. So gonna just pop those back on and replace them, and then yeah, I think they'll do quite nicely in there. So I've just sanded back the holes now that the filler's dry, and now it's time for paint. So that's the first coat done. It went on quite nicely. It's going to need a second coat, and then we'll see whether it needs a third coat or not. I've got plenty of paint left. I've painted the whole thing, and I've only got like maybe an inch down of the pot, so I'll probably give it a third coat anyway, just to be sure. Yeah, it's looking okay. Okay, so the box has had 3 coats of paint, and it's dried overnight, and now it's time to remove the masking tape so we can see the glass again. Oh, it's coming off quite easily. Hopefully it will have left a nice clean line. We can go up the other side. Oh no, maybe not. Oh, I thought it was going to be really satisfying then do it in one go. You know, like when you strip paint or wallpaper off a wall. Oh, it's so good. I haven't done that in years. There we go. Let's have a look. Yeah, nice. I think there's just a few bits that I'm going to use the scraper, the trusty scraper again, to get rid of just some little edges there where it's crept under the masking tape. Normally I use a trick if I'm doing it on walls. There's a trick I learnt where you paint the wall first, with the tape on it, with the original colour, and then paint the colour that you want. It works. Hard to explain without me showing you, but it works. But you can't do it on this glass because obviously I can't paint the glass. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's still closing okay with all the paint and everything on. So yeah, I'll just get finished on a few finishing touches. The book box is finished. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm pretty pleased with it. I think considering it was done in 2 days and I was working with a load of scrap wood, yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. It works pretty good too. So I'm happy with how the door opens and closes. It's got a nice catch on it. It's quite a satisfying clunk when you close it. I quite like how the text turned out. I think I mentioned I did think about cutting some vinyl lettering in like a particular typeface, but I quite like the paint pen. I think it gives it that kind of a bit of a DIY kind of allotment feel, because lots of times on allotments you get things that are kind of bodged together and people doing things sort of homemade, and I think it gives it that kind of look. So I'm really pleased actually how that turned out. Inside, I've kept the door on the inside. I kept the wood because I do like the wood. Really, the main reason for painting it this colour, and I love the colour, was because there were all these holes, and it had lots of filler and things to kind of cover up. So painting it with varnish, all of that would have still showed up. So painting it with paint meant that I could fill the holes, and it's now got a nice, neat surface. But yeah, I wanted to keep some of that original like wood, because I thought, again, because it's going outside in nature, it's quite nice to keep some of that sort of wood effect on it. So I've kept 2 of the shelves wooden, and the inside of the door as well, because obviously they're inside and don't need so much protection. And this door does have varnish on it on the inside anyway. The little mushrooms are cute inside. They're like another little like surprise when you open it up, I suppose. Like, as well as there going to be books in here, you've got those little mushrooms to spot, and also the lovely tablecloth fabric on the inside. So it's I don't know if I mentioned before, but it's got a kind of like a vinyl coating on the top, so it's it should do a good job of protecting from a bit of damp, and it has done in the previous box that I made, so that should be good. Yeah, there's plenty of space in here. Like, I've managed to get quite a few books in here when I was doing a test. And again, the little bottom shelf here will be good for children to be able to look inside and grab their books from. So yeah, what else? I'm just pretty pleased with it. Yeah, overall it's come together nicely. So the next job is to take it to the allotment, which I'm doing next week, and hopefully they're going to like it and it's going to get lots of use like the other one has. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you were going to build a book box, or if someone was going to build a book box in your town, where would you like to put one? I think an allotment is a great place for one, but yeah, it'd be interesting to know where else might be a good idea to put one. Who knows, I might be making more in the future. And also, what book would you put in a book box if you found one, or if you'd made one? What would be the book that you would want to put in a book box and share with other people that maybe you might think other people might not have read before, but you've read and really love? So yeah, let me know in the comments. And if you want to, you can subscribe to my channel, but if not, just a like on this video would be awesome, and even a little comment below, maybe even a little book emoji or something if you don't want to actually write a comment, would be fantastic, because it really is going to help my channel to grow. The more likes and the more comments I can get down in those comments below. So yeah, thank you for joining me. I know this was a bit of a long video, so if you've made it to the end, thank you very much. And I will see you in my next video next week.